Welcome to the Inspired Riding Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Lauren Parrish. As a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a powerful form of hypnotherapy, I'm here to remind you to slow down, trust your intuition, and really deeply listen to your horse. And this will make for the best co-creative dances possible, whether you're on the ground or connecting on their backs. Thank you so much for being here, and here we go. Hello there, Inspired Riders. In this podcast, I'm going to be interviewing Jeremy Hypes. Jeremy Hypes is the founder and CEO of Stable Systems Ltd, as well as Ignite Performing Arts Center. Growing up on a quarter-horse farm and having a daughter involved in hunter-jumper competitions, he has always been connected to the equestrian world. He also has experience in successfully managing a martial arts school that includes a gymnastics program and a competitive cheerleading team. With his expertise in running a performing arts business, Jeremy has witnessed how technology has transformed the industry, providing time-saving advantages. He has collaborated with a variety of stable owners and leading technology companies to develop an equine management system designed to assist stable managers and trainers. This system streamlines processes from scheduling to barn tasks and includes built-in cancellation policies and more, helping to save both time and energy. I'm so looking forward to hearing more about this and how it can help more instructors out there. And here we go. Welcome, everyone, to the Inspired Riding Podcast, and I'm continuing with the Riding Instructor interview series. And today we don't have a riding instructor, but we do have someone who can help support riding instructors. And I'm really excited to share with you Jeremy Hypes. And Jeremy has created a system, and I'm going to let you tell everyone about it in just a moment. But first, I would love to know, how did you get into the horse world?
All right, so way back when, probably before I was born, my father was into horses. So we raised quarter horses for fox hunters, and we gun broke quarter horses for that whole fox hunting industry. And that's how I grew up. I grew up, barebacking horses and enjoying the horse farm. We really didn't do any lessons, but we did some trail rides, invited friends. So it was just raising horses, and that's how I grew up. And obviously, as you got older, I got older. I realized that is a lot of work when you have 14 horses or 20 horses or ever how many horses you have running around. So as I got into a teenage years, I'm like, I really don't want to work on a farm. That's a lot of work, right? That's how it goes. I don't want any part of that. And I didn't. So I went to school to be a geologist. So I'm not doing anything with that today, But I got into martial arts later on in my life, and it became a passion, which became a career. So I own a martial art dojo, and now we've added competitive cheer and gymnastics to that, so it's growing and getting bigger. But my daughter, at about 4 years old, my mother-in-law still has horses, and so she fell in love with horses at 4, and did that blink, blink, blink thing to Daddy. Daddy, I want a pony. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. I remember those days, and that was a lot of work. So I said, take lessons for 4 years. And if you still enjoy it, we'll look at getting you a pony.
That's really smart. That's really smart. Yeah.
4 years later, they approached me with, it's time to lease a horse. I said, I'm not sure about this leasing of a horse. So why don't we just get horses? Right? That was my idea. Let's just get horses. So some days I am very wide open. My wife is like, please bring me back in. So I bought a horse, and I had 1 week to fence in all my property and build a barn.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I came home, fenced in my property, built a barn and everything within a week, and went and got my horse, right? So I came home, we had our horse. And then she's still doing lessons, and now the horse needs a companion, right? That's how this goes. And you get another horse. But you need a horse that does hunter-jumper now, because that's what she's into. So we got another horse. So now we have horses. We have one in the barn, 2 on property. And I started noticing a trend that at every barn I was at, it felt like the same chaos that I was in prior to getting a management system at my dojo.
Mm.
Trying to get a hold of the trainer was tough, trying to schedule lessons. If I had to cancel or if they had to cancel, then rescheduling. And I'm just like, wow, this is not a smooth way to run and operate. But I understood it because I was there 10 years ago.
Right.
So I started asking around to the barn owners that we were at. I'm like, have you ever thought about a management system? And most of them said no. One said yes, but felt overwhelmed by them. And I said, well, if we look at one, would you get one? So we looked at one, and it was super complex. I mean, I'm sitting there like, wow, that is very confusing. And I know a little bit about computers, not a computer genius, but I'm just like, oh, I have a management system, and this one's really confusing. So we looked at another, and it just didn't do as much as I thought it should, or what my management system was doing at my dojo. So I said, well, if I build you one, will you use it? And she looked at me, she goes, you're serious, aren't you? And I said, I am real serious. I said, because the industry needs something better than what is out here now. So for the past year, we've built the system. We found 6 or 7 trainers and barns of different sizes and shapes and said, what do you need? What are your pain points? So that's where we went. We started hitting our pain points. So that's how I got into the horse industry and where I am today.
That's brilliant. So speaking of pain points, do you want to go through some of the things that your system helps with?
Sure. And we'll start with probably one of the biggest ones that, came to fruition is the whole lesson planning, booking, scheduling. That becomes tough because you're dealing with, at most, a small group of people scheduling a lesson. Most of the time, it's one person at a time, right? So that whole scheduling part was tough because a lot of people like to ride the same day, the same week, every time. Every Tuesday at 2, every whatever it is, it feels good. It's in a pattern. But whether you have an indoor, outdoor, the weather, you get sick, the trainer gets sick, there's cancellations that happen. So we started looking at how do we make this easier and how does the trainer owner get paid for the lesson that gets canceled, right?
Right.
Because that's where I was that bad parent. I have been that bad parent to where we call the trainer the day of and, hey, we can't make it today. Okay, thanks. And now she's out of her $75 for her ride, for her lesson. I'm like, you should take my money up front. And I would say that you should take my money up front. That way, if I'm the bad guy, just take it, right?
Right.
I can't do that. So everybody has that big heart, right? We all have that big heart and don't want to be that bad guy, but every other industry does that.
And your horse is still made to eat, and you need to be paid.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So I do that in my dojo.
Yeah.
I do a subscription. If you show up or not is not my. I do care, but it's not on me to make sure you get there, right? So we've set up where there's a cancellation policy built in that if they don't go online and cancel, you have taken their money.
Right.
Now, if there's always certain circumstances you can give it back, but so we've helped with that process of you're no longer the bad guy.
Nice.
You can now say the system took it. You didn't follow the rules and the system took it. So, that helps out so you're no longer such a bad guy. You can blame it on the system a little bit. And then to the booking of the lessons, the whiteboard. We've all seen the whiteboard at the barn. That's never right. They did it on Sunday night, but it's never right by Monday afternoon. Because somebody canceled, something went wrong with the horse, kind of lame or whatever. So we created the digital inside the system whiteboard. Sunday, you can book all your riders for the week, all your horses. And our system's even set up to where you can't overbook your horses because it tracks how many times your horse has been ridden. And you said it. If this horse can't be ridden more than twice a day, it can't be booked more than twice.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
So that's built in to protect your horses. That way, if you have 4 or 5 trainers and you're sharing horses, how do they know whether that horse has been used twice a day as they're booking? So the system will know that. We also grade your riders and grade your horses and grade your trainers. So you can have a beginner trainer that obviously can't train a advanced person. Well, you can't book those two together. It won't allow you. If you have an advanced horse and a beginner rider, it won't let you put that horse with that rider. So there's a lot of protections in there that keep you from overbooking, overworking, or putting dangerous situations together.
Overfacing. That's really good.
And most barns will know that. It's not that they don't know these two don't go together per se, but sometimes you're in a hurry. I've been there. Let me book this out fast. And you say, what? Well, why did that stop? Oh, yes, that horse really doesn't belong with that person. It's not that you don't know. It's just you're kind of getting through the system. So it saves you a little bit of headaches like that. Also, as you book it out, we can set it up to where it sends text and emails or one or the other that, hey, your lesson for this week is scheduled, confirmed, whatever you want to call it. If you need to cancel, it gives them a link that they can cancel. And that SMS system all lives inside of our system. So we give you a new phone number in case you don't like your cell phone blowing up all hours of the day and night. The system is right there. It's in there. We can actually tie Facebook, WhatsApp, and all that to the system if you want. So all your messaging can go to one place. So it makes it easy to handle lesson booking, group lessons too. You can go in and set up a group lesson real easy. You pick your trainer, you pick your 3 or 4 horses, you pick your 3 or 4 riders, you said done. Everybody gets an email and text. Your horses are all booked and taken care of, and your trainer's taken care of. And we have this wonderful calendar as the owner, trainer, or manager can look at that shows everyone's. If you have multiple trainers, it's color coded. Everybody has a color. You can see on a calendar very beautifully laid out of when all the schedules and lessons are booked out. So it's very well thought out, very easy to manage as a CRM or a management system. The flow is pretty easy. We've had people who are not great at it run through it and say, oh, yeah, I can follow that. So we set it up for the lesson part. So that's just the lesson part,
wow.
Right? So it took a lot of time and thought and a lot of trainers and owners that we talked to go through the lesson part and booking that out, the cancellation part, and how that works. The next pain point is payments, right?
Right.
Payments, collecting payments. We all like to collect them, but we don't like chasing them.
Sure.
I was there. I was chasing payments, trying to keep track of it in an Excel spreadsheet. Everybody was supposed to pay me on the 1st. But you know what happens? Mom or dad comes in, hey, I forgot the checkbook. I forgot my wallet. Dad will get you next week. Dad comes in next week. She didn't tell me. I was that dad one time. She didn't tell me. She forgot to tell me to pay, the trainer.
Right.
So I was that bad parent. No more of that. And then I always thought cash was king, right? I love cash. Cash is great. But until you start missing those payments, then as people disappear, well, it may have just been $300. When you let that happen a couple of times, I had one that was $1,500. I ended up losing one year about $15,000 because of cash.
Oh, wow.
And I said, why am I doing this? It's very stressful to have to, hey, you owe me. It's not fun to tell people you owe me.
No.
So once I got my management system, I set everybody up on a reoccurring payment, a subscription. And I don't even think about it. It goes and gets it for me every month. I don't chase people. I don't have to go, please. If maybe they have insufficient funds, it goes back after them again. It can send automatic messages. We can set that up. So it's nice that you're no longer chasing payments. So that's a big one. And everybody's like, well, can we still take cash? You can take credit card, debit card. You can put checks into the system. You can put cash into the system. So there is a way, if you want to put cash into the system, you can. So you can have it your way. However, you can do subscriptions with us. You can do packages, and you can do one-offs. So you
Nice.
can sell pets, you can sell boarding, and that's what I really do love. There's other systems I saw that can't handle boarding because it's a subscription. I want that boarding to come out on the 1st of every month.
Right.
You do that subscription. We can do lease. We have it where you can set up a value for that horse. So say you have a double lease going, half lease.
Mm-hmm.
That horse's lease value, let's just say is $2,000. Well, you put one person in as a lease. As a half lease, we already calculate half that what you said that horse is worth. That's $1,000 that goes out in a subscription. If you have the other half lease, another $1,000 goes out in subscription. We do it for you. So we go get your lease payments. We go get your boarding payments. Any lessons, we can do it as a package, 3-month package, 2-month package, 10-ride package, or a monthly subscription. So we got it where we can take that whole payment nightmare off your hands, and we do it for you.
That's a huge relief and so smart. And then the instructors can focus on teaching and doing what they love. Yeah.
And that's what I love when I'm at my dojo and teaching, or I watch my instructors, they can teach. And then the next thing we have T-shirts for sale. We have merch for sale.
Yeah.
I got some on now. I got some of my merch on now. But then they come up and they're like, "How much is a T-shirt?" It's $25. Oh, I don't have my wallet. Can I use the card on file? Sure. So I have a card on file. All it sees is the last 4 digits. And I just go to the system, pull up a t-shirt, card on file, and I got my $25. It's no longer I missed that sale because they didn't have the wallet. Now I got the card on file.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it makes my life easier. Oh, I don't have it. Can I use your card on file? Yeah. So it makes it really easy, especially those people who have camps coming up, right?
Oh, yes.
Have camps where you have pizza week, pizza Friday, or t-shirts, or tie-dye, whatever you're doing, and you got that one kid looking at you like, I didn't know about the tie-dye. And you can call mom or text mom because you got their number in the system. Hey, we're doing tie-dye. Can we use the card on file? So it makes life easier when it comes to things of that nature that is just there. It's there. So the payment thing is a real issue that we have thought through hard because it's not just a dojo. You're doing leasing. You're doing a lot that's in there. So we really thought that out. So that was pain point 2. And then on pain point 3, so we did lessons, we did payments. Now you have staff, right? And barn help. Free help that's paying off lessons by scooping poop out of the stalls, right?
Working students.
We've all been there.
Yep.
All done. Student help. So we create this task, right? So you can go in and you can assign tasks to either your employees, to your barn help, to your students, whatever it may be. You assign this task. They get an email or a text, however you set it up, that says you have a new task assigned to you. They can open it up, see what the task is, or they can log in because they have a login. They can log in on their phone. And I don't know many people who are teenage or older years that don't have a phone. They can log in on their phone, see the task, and then once they complete it, they hit complete. Now you, as the manager or owner, get a message that task has been complete. I mean, you can have it reoccurring. So I could set up, little Susie comes in every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays to do stalls. She logs in. I set that up reoccurring for the next 3 months. Little Susie is coming in. She no longer has to find me in the middle of the arena, stop my lesson. What do I need to do today?
Yes.
Every day, right? So she can log in and mark it off complete. We can even have it. We have one barn that even has the farrier login, right? The farrier likes to come at odd hours. They said, we're going to give you a login. The farrier logs in and they have tasks assigned for the farrier. The farrier knows who the horses are, so no longer has to have the instructor standing there. It's a list. Hey, I need you to take puddles. I need you to do 4 shoes. I need you to take sully and do front shoes. The farrier gets to see everything. They don't really even have to talk to anyone. If they don't want to, we all know that usually they all like to talk. But you can schedule that out for anyone. So the task is really easy. Everyone has enjoyed the task. You can set the task up at the beginning of the month, beginning of the day, beginning of the week, however you want. So it's very nice to have. It's easy, and even the help has seemed to really enjoy, not getting yelled at or anything. They can just log in and see what they have to do.
Well, it creates so much clarity, too. It's right there. Yes.
Right there. And then you can say, well, why didn't you do this or didn't you? So I went to Florida a couple weeks ago, or really about a month ago. And, I'm in the middle of Virginia. We get some snow, but I was going down to WEC, and they were calling for a foot of snow. And the people who were going to watch my horses said, we can't come because we can't make it because we got our own farm people things to take care of. Because, you can't find just everybody to say, yes, I'll come take care of your Australian shepherds and your horses and your cat and your one-eyed cat and, all those things. I found a young man who's like, I will stay, but I don't like horses. Like, oh, okay. So I put him this whole task list together, right, of what to do. I included, you got to kiss Silver 12 times before you give him a treat. All those things that people don't understand that goes into your horses, right? So you can put all that in there, and he followed it to a T. I mean, I could watch him check it off. Boom, boom, boom. So it made me feel good that I could watch everything being checked off until he called me that my 27-year-old mare was choking.
Oh, no.
And he didn't know what to do, but anyway, it turned out great. He stayed out there and froze with my horse for 4 hours.
But she was okay?
Yeah, she ended up, all the bio stuff came up after about 1%. Didn't even have to get the vet out there. So that was a great thing. But, this young man who doesn't even really like horses is standing out there freezing for 4 hours to make sure this horse is doing great. So
what a trooper. Yeah.
So great people still exist out there. Yeah. And the system worked, right? So You have to check things off, make him feel good. He's doing things right. I'm doing things right. I know a lot of people have used this for the supplements, right?
Oh, yes.
So each week, some horses change supplements every week. So you can put this horse needs this supplement. So even the task can be assigned to a horse. Like this task is assigned to you, but it's for a horse. So it gets into that detail if you want to. So task is wonderful. People have enjoyed that. And then lessons. Talked about that. To book it, if they cancel, it opens up slots. You can go send it back out for people to book. You can send messages out for people to book it. The horses. Let's talk about horse input. There's a lot of data that we can put in for a horse. Same thing with people, but the horses, we can go all the way into, like how many times it can be ridden every day of the week. 1, 2, 0. So you set that. What level is this horse? What temperament is the horse? Any diseases, Coggins dates. We have alerts to go off for, things like that. 30-day alert for Coggins are coming up. Any lease paperwork is stored with that horse information.
Nice.
It can be emailed out. Somebody emails you something back. You can put it right there. All the information, all the paperwork can be stored for your horse right here.
Can people sign contracts within it, or how's that work?
People can sign contracts within it. I think we're getting ready to switch vendors on that. Okay. We have a vendor now that deals with that. Not sure it's the friendliest, but we will, or we have it. We're going to have a better one coming.
Oh, cool.
But you can send it out. Just being honest,
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a first try with the DocuSign, and it's okay. But I like one where you can a little more refined. Right now, it's just kind of crude. So
okay,
we'll get a little bit better. But yes, you can do it. And even if people just want to scan it and send it back to you, we can still take it that way too, the old-fashioned way as well. People can take pictures, send those to you of it. But it's all stored right there, just same as your people. Like if you have people and you want W-9s for your employees or whatever, you can store all that in the system. I mean, it's a full-blown CRM built on Salesforce. If anybody knows Salesforce, we built it on top of that because it's the most reliable CRM in the world. All kinds of plugins. It plugs into all those things like Xero and Intuit QuickBooks. So you can plug straight into there. So all your sales can go straight into QuickBooks if you want to make that integration easy. Reports, we got plenty of reports to find. Find reports on open task. You can find reports on riders, how many riders. And we got this dashboard built to keep track of a lot of that. How many lessons you've given, how many open tasks there are, how many active riders. We even have, if you're like an actively growing barn, if you're in Salesforce, you can take that and you can have where it goes from leads to opportunities. It comes from your website into leads and opportunities. You can move it into active riders. So the system's set up for as many horses as you want, as many riders as you want, as many trainers as you want. You can have multiple locations. We have one barn and it's 4 locations. So we have like the mothership barn and then the 4 locations out from underneath of it. I think our next stab will be, we're going to look at 501c3s and rescues and see how we can even maybe double the size of what we can do to help out our rescues, because that's something I'm very passionate about, is rescues and trying to support them.
Nice.
So I have one up in Pennsylvania now I'm working with. She's going to be my guinea pig of how to work with rescues, right? Because they really don't need to schedule lessons, but they could schedule people coming out.
Oh, sure.
To help scheduling. So we're going to try to figure out how we can make that work really well for rescues and give them a really great deal on it for rescues.
So going back to your contracts and such, can you keep like release forms and emergency contact info for your riders?
All that could be stored right there.
That's amazing.
For each rider. So even if you have a mom, let's say you got a mom and 3 kids who all ride, each one can have their own contract stored there. So it's not like, oh, this is a family one. No, everybody has their own individual spot where you can store stuff. You can communicate with individuals. I mean, maybe you have a mom with 2 older teenage daughters, or a son and a daughter. I'm thinking of people I know, right?
Yeah.
So, a mom who rides, and then you got 2 daughters, one's 20, one's 18 who ride. So they're no longer kids, but they all ride together. So they can all have their own cell number in there, their own email, but it all still can be under that one household. Mom still pays for the daughters. They're in college, so they still pay for that. So it's all under one household, but you have each rider underneath there that you can send notes to. You can make notes on that rider, private notes, shareable notes, things of that nature that, maybe if you have multiple trainers and you have that rider who struggles with keeping her heels in, how many times have we heard that? Keep your heels down, keep your heels in. So maybe the next trainer who picks her up, and she maybe moves at levels, they can look at the notes. Oh, here's the riding notes. Oh, we really need to work on her seat, her heels, whatever it may be,
right,
that you can look at. So there's a lot of information that can be put in here. And once again, if you know a CRM, it is the more information you put in, the better results you get back from it. So that's something people really need to understand about any of the management systems. Is the more you put in, the more you get back.
That's fantastic. It sounds like you guys thought about a lot of things, which is so important.
Well, we had a lot of great help. Like I said, those 6, 7 barns that helped us out, they were like, okay, and they tried. Oh, no, yep, no. And of course, out of the 7 barns that we had 7 different opinions, maybe 8, because we're dealing with horse people, right? You got 7 people, you got 8 different opinions. I don't know where the extra opinion always comes from, but it does. So, yeah.
I was thinking only 8. I would think there'd be more.
I was being nice. Because I was sitting around with a group of horse people the other day, and we were asking opinions about what to do in a situation, right? Of course, you got everybody from old school to new school to you need to whisper to the horse to you need to be a little more firm. I'm like, well, there's only 4 of us. I think I've heard like 12 opinions out of the 4 of us. I said, okay, that's pretty good. At least it wasn't 20, because everybody then says, well, maybe because you hear somebody else say something, your opinion changed a little bit. So
the answer is always, it depends. Yeah.
It depends. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It is. So we have barns that will go from, and this part I want to emphasize, if you're a lesson barn doing one-offs every day, all day long, you really should look at either going to a package or a subscription. I mean, you're only hurting yourself, and I know a lot of people are scared to go that way because this is the way I do it, and will my clients reject this and go somewhere else, right? So unless you're like smack dab in a very metropolitan or on the outskirts of a metropolitan area, I doubt you got a ton of competition around. Out where I live, there's not a barn every 2 miles, 30, 40 miles between each barn or each stable. So, the competition, I doubt they're going to go running to the competition if you switch to one of these. And if they really understand, you could offer them a better deal if they know it's continuing to come, right?
Right.
So, I offer people, hey, you want to pay me a year at a time? If you pay me a year at a time, I'll give you 15% off. And you'll be surprised how many people will pay you for a year at a time. And then you're guaranteed that money. And I have other barns who are like, nope, I want subscription because I want that guaranteed money every month.
Right.
And we can do that. So, but doing the one-offs usually ends up in somebody cancels and you're not getting your money. And, that's where we need to stop that. Ballet doesn't do that. Martial arts doesn't do that. None of the other paying sports like we are, service sports, do that. It's one of the very few left that one-offs. Now, if you're doing an intro lesson, I can see where doing a one-off is very advantageous.
Right.
But if I had riders continuously coming to me on a regular basis, I would say, let's look at a package or even a subscription. How do you do that? I'll be happy to share, if you want to come take a demo, how we do that with people, how they set it up. I mean, it really works well for them, and it takes the stress of, what about makeup lessons? How do we do that? What do we do with that? So there's another pain point that people don't think about, the makeup lessons. I have one barn, no makeup lessons at all. Mm-hmm. Only time there's a makeup is if the trainer cancels. That is the only time there's a makeup. I hear that. I understand that. Some are not quite that harsh. They go into I have 2 makeup lessons a month. It's usually like a Friday afternoon and a Saturday afternoon or something of that nature. And then you have to sign up for it. We can do that too. We can have you it would be called a makeup group lesson, and we can have it to where they could go out, find it, and book. And if you have 4 or 5, whatever the limit is, once that's booked, it closes out. So, we have ways to make your life easier where you're not chasing that, finding that, or doing any of that. So it has helped a lot of people bring stress level way down.
Oh, I totally understand that. I remember I started teaching in the year 2000, and I was getting paid by the barn that I was working out of. It was actually at the Chelsea Piers, the Chelsea Equestrian Center in New York City. And
Nice.
and it was amazing. They charged the clients $110 an hour, and I would get 20 of it, but inevitably almost every client would tip me like $20 to $30 each time. So, and that was just like, and I'd do 8 lessons in a row. It was amazing. And it was great, but then it wasn't. And I knew that the management was going down, so I needed to leave and move to California. And from there, again, I was working for another trainer. I was the assistant trainer, but there it was again, just collecting checks here and there. And, this is the early 2000s, so we didn't really have these kind of systems in place. But now I have one local client, and she pays me packages. And then I have all remote lessons. And so they're either in subscription or packages, or there's occasional people that do one-offs, but they always pay me ahead of time. So it's just, I never have to think about it. It's really cool.
Chasing money is a bad feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good for you. It's not good for the people who you're chasing it from either. I mean, it's just never a good feeling. It usually upsets somebody along the way. Either you get upset because you feel like you've gotten robbed, or those people are like, well, they don't understand, There's a reason why they're late. They don't understand. So it just squashes all that. If you set rules, and that's what I also say, set barn rules, set stable rules. Hey, this is it.
Yeah.
Have them sign it, and then store it with that file, with that person. And then when they question it, be like, is this your signature, right?
Right.
I've had to do that once or twice. Most of the time, most people are very understanding. But every now and again, I'm like, here's where we went over it in the contract, because I pull it up on my computer. And if I have to print it, sometimes I do print it because it's easier. I'm like, I underlined it, you initialed it, and then you signed. I don't remember that. Well, I'm sorry you don't remember that, but we did discuss it. So It is a good practice to document, especially in today's world. So, and then where do you store it all? So we have that solution too. So we can store it, and then if you need to recall it, it's easy to recall, and it's right there.
I love that.
But your situation, we can keep track of every lesson it's done. I'm hoping you'll appreciate this. It's just a report. We have all the data. I just got to figure out how to scrunch it all in together and make it spit it out. And we will. I want people to understand how much their horse is either making them or losing them. Right? It's an asset. Your horse is an asset.
Yes.
So I want to figure out a way for you to track how much your feed, vet, and all that costs for the horse. It gets calculated in. If it's being leased out, okay, that comes in as a plus. Lessons, every lesson that horse gives gets added up. If it's, being boarded, all those things that could come in to add to it. At the end of the month, you'll be able to look and say, all right, this horse made me $5,000 this month or cost me $1,000 this month. And then you can readjust. If every horse you're losing money, your prices aren't right.
Right.
But how do you know that if you're not tracking it? And
yes.
I did have to talk, and it's great because I get to talk to barns across the U.S. from California to Florida. I get to talk to barns. And the disparity in pricing, let's just talk about boarding. Full board. And I'm talking about full care, full board. I've seen range across the United States from $350 a month for full care to $2,500 a month for full care. I'm like, how is there so much disparity in between full board costs? $2,500, I'm sure you get some luxuries in there.
Yeah, I think my friend on Long Island where I grew up said that's how much they are now. And I remember when I grew up, it was $800. I'm like, wow, they've really jumped.
Yeah. Well, hay prices have jumped. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Has hay prices jumped that much more for New York than it has Alabama, Louisiana? Probably not. So Alabama, Louisiana, are you losing money on your boarding because you didn't go up enough for your hay cost? How do you know if you're not keeping track of it, right? So hopefully we'll have that within about a month to where you can track each horse, each trainer, and we'll have a report saying this trainer cost you, made you, this horse cost you, made you. So it's a great way to evaluate what you got, because right now it's hard to do that, You're just trying to teach lessons. That's what you want to do. You don't want to have to come in and calculate all this. We'll do it for you.
That's really cool.
that's the great thing. We're always taking, and this came from a barn. A barn goes, I do this on Google Docs right now, every horse, but it takes me forever to do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'm sure it does. That's a lot of calculations you're putting in there.
It's kind of like QuickBooks for ponies,
That's right. I said, so I think we can get all that and we can do it for you. And she's like, for real? I'm like, for real. I was like, there's some other fish to fry first, but give me about 2 months and I bet you we can have that. And I talked to my guys and they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. That won't be a problem, like other stuff to do.
Right.
But yeah, I have a dedicated 2 teams of IT guys.
Nice.
Some are state. I have a team here in the States. I have a team offshore that are constantly making upgrades and updates to the system. So usually every week there's an upgrade, which I don't know many other systems out there that are doing an upgrade a week. And, and especially in the horse world. I mean, I see some they've been talking about they're going to do an upgrade. And they've been talking about it for 6 months. I literally do an upgrade every Friday.
That's amazing.
So, people give me feedback. I love feedback. I can take feedback. I'm working right now with a lady in Australia, getting feedback because there won't be long. I'll be launching in Australia and I'll be launching in Canada. Europe will be later because Europe has so many rules that you have to go by. That will take like a lawyer to get to there.
Well, I know we do have
an English lawyer. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. We do have Australian listeners because my business coach is from Perth, Australia. So I've befriended a lot of Australian horse people. So I'm sure they'll be keen to hear about that too. So,
yeah. It's amazing that evidently there is a product that came out from Australia. I'm not going to say any names, but it does very similar to what we do.
Uh-huh.
And I've gotten a lot of people coming to me from that group saying, can you? And I'm like, yes. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes from that. So, it's
nice.
And I've had a lot of Australian interest, and I'm just like, I'm not quite ready to do that because, you got to dive into some of the rules of the country. And
sure.
I'm hoping some of these people I'm in contact with now, and if anybody else in Australia is like, oh, me, would like to be a guinea pig, I'm up for that. But, there's some stuff that, you got to go through, and I'll help you out, But, I love guinea pigs because I don't understand the Australian dollar. I don't understand some of the commerce there.
Right.
And these are all things I need to wrap my head around. So
sure.
And all those things give me juice. That gets me excited, makes me happy. Like I said, I don't sit still long for much of anything. So I'm like, Australia, woohoo! That means I can go to Australia at some point. If I launch there, right, I get to go to Australia.
So fun.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. And it's like, life's a big adventure. Let's make it big. Right? So
beautiful. Now, is your daughter's barn using it as well?
She is. She is the reason why I created it.
Nice.
And she has been my very first barn to use it. And it has improved communication with her tremendously because I just started Brittany. I could text her. I would text her this morning. I would text her at 10. I text her at 11. I text her at 12. And I would text her for the next 3 days every hour. Hey, we need to cancel. Let me know. We need to cancel. And then, like an hour before the ride, oh, you need to cancel?
Oh, gosh.
Man, you stink. You stink at communications. I was like, did you not see my text 4 days ago? I saw it. Why didn't you respond? So she's just like, I struggle with that. And she admits that communication is her weakest point. So for her, we set up a lot of automations. Somebody calls, somebody text message her. It sends out an automation. Hey, I'm in the arena. Please text me tonight at 7 p.m. because she won't respond because at 7 p.m. she's kind of done. But if she has a reminder, so we were working with her to make her communication skills better. A lot of automations go on with her. So some people don't want that level of automations. They want more hands-on, but she wants automate it for her. So,
that's really cool. Well, you can customize it.
We can, and that's what makes it fun for us to customize it to make it. We can't make it everything for everybody. That's impossible. But we have done a lot for a lot of people that have, especially my testing group. Right, they have gone through a lot of pain with this. That didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. To this is working. And I like to say, this is Clover Grove's system. This is the other left's system. As these people are sitting here helping me say, can you do this? Can you do this? I don't know. Let me talk. Let me figure it out. Yes. Come back a week later. We can do that. Give me 2 weeks. We'll have that.
Nice.
So that's what's awesome about it. And the system and in a group of guys I got behind me, let me just tell you, best group of guys ever.
That's the best. Yeah, I had an incredible app developer that helped me with my app as well, so that was really exciting.
It is. Yeah. When you got people behind you, not just doing a job, but thinking of your best interest, it's amazing. So,
it's really cool.
And that's how I try to approach everybody. If I can help others, that is my best interest. So, and that's amazing. I got a group of guys like that.
It's so good. Did you want to share the screen and show anything about it?
I'll show a quick couple things about it. That way people can kind of get a look and feel of it. So
brilliant. And for anyone listening, I'm going to encourage you to watch the video. I will have it posted on YouTube for sure. So, and I'll have the link in the show notes for you.
All right. Hopefully everybody can see that screen.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Okay, get that out of the way. So right here's a home screen. I'm in a test one so nobody can see real data. YouTube, this is fake data. This is not real data. If you don't tell YouTube that, they will not let you post it.
Okay.
So this is not real data. This is all made up data here in a test barn. So if you look at it, we're looking at a dashboard logged in as a manager of a barn. You can see we got how many households from February to March. They're growing. How many active riders? That has stayed the same. Leads and partners, this is something if you're a growing barn, you want to tie into the marketing process that we have, what's built in with Salesforce. You can. You can go out there, you can find you leads, and leads turn into opportunities that turn into households. This is how many lessons that have been given. And this is how many open tasks that are for the task. So as an owner or manager, you may have assigned tasks to people. And this is how many's open. And you can click into this report and see how many there is and who it is and who's the biggest offender is. So right now you can see Savannah Helper is the biggest offender of open tasks. She has 28 tasks, not much more than Lisa Grow. So you can see what's there. You can see some of the most recent tasks. There's an English private lesson and a group lesson with Lisa that's coming up as a task. So it's a quick way to see what you're going, but we'll hop back to the home screen. I'll show you down here is a couple of things. If on the right-hand side, you see over here, this is our built-in SMS system. So instead of using your phone number, we can use your phone number if you want to, but if you don't want to, we can assign you a number with your area code. That way all the text message come to here instead of your cell phone. We can forward it on to you. We can add WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram into here as well. It can come into the system.
Does it get forwarded to your other phone, like your regular phone as well, or no?
If you want to, it can. If not, you don't have to. Some people say, yes, I want it. I want to know. Some people are like, nope, I just want to log in the morning and see what has happened. So
nice.
Some people don't want to be bothered with it. Some people do. It's kind of a personal preference.
It's good to have the option.
It is good to have the option because some days you just, you just want to be on top of things. It doesn't matter what time. And some people are like, nope, at 8 a.m., 8 p.m., after those two times, I don't want to be bothered with that. So
that's really nice.
Yeah. And over here, I only have one trainer set up in this group. So right here, you can see on her calendar, it shows you have a group lesson with Lisa and then English private lesson. And this is telling you who the rider is. It's Jill Payne, 10:30 to 11:30. It's an hour private lesson. If you had multiple trainers, you could add their calendars down here just by add, and you can make them different colors.
Nice.
So, for instance, if I had 5 trainers, they'd all have different colors. And right here on this, as the owner or manager, you'd be able to see everybody's lessons coming up. If this was just maybe an outside trainer, you talked about that. You're an outside trainer working for the barn, right? And maybe they didn't want you to see everyone else's lessons. We could do that too. You would only be able to see your lessons. So we can set the calendar up to be an employee, manager, or owner level.
Nice.
The whole dashboard can be set up like that. You may not want just an employee who's a trainer or outside trainer to see everyone else's, how many lessons they're given, any of that financial stuff. So we can limit all that by levels. So that's your home screen up here. I'll just go through the kind of across here. I want you to think of households kind of like the top level for a family. So you could have a mom, a dad, and 3 kids all under a household, right? So the household, and I'll show you, I'll hop in over to a household. We have the Forbes household. We have the Payne household. I'm going to click into the Payne household just because I'm pretty sure there's 2 people in the Payne household. So if you hit the Payne household, this is where, like I said, payment method, they can add it, you can add it. So either way, they can log in as a customer, add their credit card, debit card information. You can do it for them. It's probably the easiest way because you're sure you're getting it. At that point, you have their account on file for all of them. But over here in the related, you have your contacts. You have Jill and Tammy. So like I said, there's 2 people that live in this household. You can click on Jill and you can go to the contact. You can go to contacts up here the exact same way. Either way you get there, you can get to Jill.
Okay.
So you can see we have been setting stuff up for Jill. So for instance, hello Jill Payne. This message confirms your booking for English private lesson on 4/18 at 10:30 a.m. Please meet your trainer Lisa Groach, your location prior to start time. To cancel or make changes to this, please log in to this address. Thanks, Lee Jackson Highway. That's the name of the barn. Lee Jackson Highway would be, whatever barn name. So
yeah.
They got a nice text that their lesson was set up, and here's how you cancel. We can do emails, text, both, either, or one or the other. So we can set up a preference of what you want to go out there. You can customize it a little bit. We're working on where you can have a full customization of that. There's certain parts there in the middle that we pull from the lesson that you can't really change because the trainer is who it is, the time is what it is,
right?
Things like that. But the footer and the header, you'll be able to change.
Nice.
Information over here on Jill. You can see when we set Jill up, we did a lot of vetting on Jill. She's a customer. It's a child, female. This is mom's phone number. This is dad's email. That's the way they wanted it. She's an active rider. You can see she's active. She's 5'4", 120 pounds. The reason that's important is this depends on what horse she can fit on.
Right.
If we got a little 12-1 pony that can only take an 80-pound person, well, we can't put Jill on that pony, right? So we need something that will fit Jill. She's also an advanced rider that does not jump. So we know a lot of information about her. Her primary trainer is Lisa Grow. You can have multiple primary trainers, a secondary trainer.
So cool.
She also has some tags over here. Let's talk about that. She's a summer camp. She goes to summer camp and she does pony rides. She's part of the Pony Ride Club, right? So anytime I want to send out an email to all of my summer camp people or my pony ride people, I can send a mass email out to them because she has that tag. It just makes it easy to send out mass emails and text. So that's what that is over there. If I want to schedule a lesson for her, it's real easy. I go in and say, all right, I want to schedule a lesson for Jill. We're going to do an English lesson. We're going to select the trainer. I only have one trainer here. It's Lisa Grow. Select her. At this point, we can select a horse. We don't have to. But if you want your horse as that resource or that asset to be used up, like I said, this horse can be ridden twice a day. So if I put it in here, no one else can book it but one more time. So we're going to select a horse. We're going to put trigger in there. Oh, let me click it. So trigger is going to be in this lesson. And you'll see that the time's changed, right, down below. Because we added trigger. Trigger has evidently been booked Friday morning. Because I see the time change on Friday morning. So, all right, we can't book trigger at 9 o'clock. So we're going to give her Saturday 9 to 10 because Friday's booked. This is just reviewing your lesson. Is everything here what you want? You hit next. All set.
That's cool.
And you finish up. Now she gets a text message. Hey, your lesson is now booked. If it was a different trainer, let's just say maybe I'm the manager and I booked that for another trainer. The trainer would get a message. You have a lesson booked. So it sends out a lot to those people. Like I said, you can add a note about the rider here if you want to. And under related, there's a ton you can do with related. You can add notes. You can add files. Let's just say if this person was an employee, you can add a W-9 or their summer camp release form, waivers. It's all here.
That's fantastic.
You can upload it.
Yeah.
If they email it to you, you can upload it. You can email it out. It's all living right there under Jill Payne. Under her, it shows all her activity. So if they're like, hey, did I take a lesson last week? You sure did. It'll show if they have a horse, like just say they board a horse, they could tie a horse to that. Any SMSs that are scheduled to go out, you'd see here. Any SMS history lives here. So if they're like, you didn't send me a text, let me check. Oh, I did. It went out at 10:25 a.m. when we scheduled your lesson. Double check that. So there's a lot of history that you can find with the individual as well here. So it's easy to book a lesson, easy to see all the information, text. It all lives right here for that person. So it's nice. It's all one place.
That's awesome.
Lessons. This is just where you can either do an individual lesson. You can see what's been booked. Group lessons. If there's a group lesson that's been booked, you can see there's no people to see it with, but you can go in and modify. If you want to set up a group lesson, you do it the same way as we did that setup with her. You pick your trainer, you pick your horses, you pick your riders, 4 riders, plop, plop, plop. They all get a message. It's really easy to do that. Let's go back to this individual lesson that I set up for Jill. Let's just say on 4/18 I get sick, right? It's as easy as I can either edit and change it, or I can cancel. I can put the reason why I canceled it. I'm sick. Confirm. And we can even have this go out as an SMS or an email to your rider saying, I'm sick, please reschedule. And they can go on and reschedule if you want to. If you don't want them to have that capability, you can reschedule for them.
Nice.
So it's a quick, easy way to cancel lessons as well.
Love it.
Task. Oh, love task. Task is so easy. So right here, I think I did this earlier. I put drag arena, right? Drag indoor arena because they have an indoor-outdoor. So you can see what's recently viewed. I mean, there's all kinds of viewed. Delegated tasks, things I've delegated to other. You got something for chief. I'm not sure what that one was. Somebody was messing in here. You got drag arena. That's mine that I put in there. So somebody did a lot of reoccurring here. You can even go to overdue tasks. Obviously, they're red because they're overdue, right?
Those stalls need to be cleaned.
Oh, man. I can't imagine the piles that are in there at this point, right? So you can see a lot.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And it's easy to set up a new one. I mean, you just go in and you say subject, drag, arena, and maybe we'll say it is I'll assign it to Lisa. That's who I am. I don't want a due date because I want it open maybe to keep going. And I'll say maybe add line, right? Whoop, I got to spell. Add line. And then we can space. So this is going to the big arena, not the indoor arena. And if I want to make it reoccurring, I say we're going to do this every Sunday. We're going to take Monday off and Thursday. Twice a week. We're going to do it between now and April 21st. We'll hit save.
Nice.
And there you go. It's as simple as that. And then the person will get an email and to mark it complete. You can go into the task, mark it complete. There's an email that goes that says it's done. So tasks are real great for this barn help. The student help comes in. They can log in, check it out, mark it off, and be done. You don't really have to talk to them if you don't need to. So it's a time saver right there. On across horses. Let's talk about horses real fast. There's a lot of great information in here. And then the managed part, the reports, hit quickly on those. We'll go into chief. So for example, we have chief. We have your owner's name, show name, location, USEF, NAC numbers if you want those. Some people don't have all those. This part right here is an active horse. So you can have an inactive horse, who maybe is just a boarded horse, or one of those, like I have in my front yard, a lawn ornament that you love deer and you're never going to get rid of. So it's an inactive horse. We're not booking that horse at all. We have height, weight, what they are, Gray Appaloosa, gelding stallion, whatever they are. But you can see this horse can be ridden 4 times a day. I wouldn't say that's realistic. It's just what I put in there.
Right.
I could even go in here and say, you know what? Maybe I will let him ride 4 times a day, but come on Wednesday, we're going to give this old boy a rest day. I set that to 0. That horse can no longer be booked on Wednesday. So you can set rest days. It's easy to do that. To change, go in, make changes as you need to. We have minimum height and weight. I had one barn that asked for a minimum weight. We didn't have it included. I said, why do you want a minimum weight? They said, I don't want to deal with anybody under about the age of 7. So put 80 pounds on there.
Oh, I see. Yep.
I said, okay. I've never had anybody ask that. But hey, here it is. You can now put a minimum weight. I understood the maximum weight and height. So, the maximum load for this horse is 306'5", which I put it at the high end to make this horse real bookable. But you can put 100 pounds, 5'5", whatever that horse can handle. That way no one can book a 250-pound man on a horse that can only handle 150 pounds.
Sure.
Right? So it's protecting the horse. Once again, all this right here is about protecting your horses, protecting your assets. This is what makes you money. Protect them. So on down, we have features like horse riding level, breeding methods, temperament, markings on the face, legs, any of that. Lease information. So that way, we can track the lease information. Health, Coggins test dates, any health conditions. So I hate to admit this, but I dealt with, because it was so cold this winter, and I had to switch hay because my guy ran out of hay. I went through water fecal syndrome this winter. That was horrible. Horrible to get rid of, horrible to deal with. But finally got rid of it. But so yay, warmer weather came and got back to some normal hay. I got this stuff called pink mash. I don't know if you ever tried it or not.
No.
A lot of beef pulp. Claimed it would help within 2 days. It did. It really did help within about 3 days.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it helped. Any registration, lineage, all that things can be stored on your horse. But that's not all. For separate shipping and handling, I'll give you more. Okay. So over here on the related part, same thing. Any of those Coggins files, anything that you want. Lease information, anything you want to store on that horse can be stored right here, emailed in and out, back and forth, whatever you need to do.
And can that information also be shared with your vets?
It can be shared with your vets, yes. You can share it with your vets. If you want your vet to have a login, they can log in and see this. You can give them your login if you wanted to. They can see all of this. Or, if you wanted to, you could have it to where you sent them with files, right? You can grab all these files on horses and you can send it to them.
Oh, cool.
It's real easy to do that. Any open activity, you get to watch this. You see how many times a task has been assigned to that horse. Maybe you have a horse, that you need extra tasks done to. Man, we spend a lot of time grooming that horse or working on that horse's hooves. Maybe we need to look at it. So it's a quick way to be like, what is going on with the horse? Horse housings. So if your horse has a stall that it goes in and it always goes in, or a field that it always goes to, you can put this in here. And it could change. I understand it can change, but you have that barn help. You and your team go out for a show for a weekend further away. You're staying out. You bring in some outside help. Well, they know where all the horses go. You can have horse housings, stall 21, stall 2, big field, little field, whatever you call those things. You can have it where
that's really helpful. Nice.
And then you can pair your horse to a trainer. Like if you got bookable horses, I have a barn now that has 32 horses. But some trainers have this horse, and some trainers have this horse, and some trainers share horses. So this was not really a thing prior to running into that. I'm like, oh, wow, you've really created a kind of a conundrum for us. But we solved it in about a week. We said, okay, this is what we can do. So now you can pair horses to trainers. That way no one can book a horse that they're not able to book. So it was a great way to make this work and keep it separated, because like I said, you got some of these nicer barns in New York or wherever that have 50 horses and 15 trainers. Well, not every trainer gets every horse.
Right.
So it's like, okay, how do we solve that issue? Well, we solved it. I guess our next issue that we're solving and working on now is we have a barn that the people pay rent. So they're not employees, so they don't want to commingle money, but they share horses. I said, oh, wow, you've really come up with a conundrum for me, because you're sharing horses, but you don't want to share any money coming in. So for now, I had to set them up in 2 separate locations, but I've almost got it complete where they can share horses at different locations. So, people come to unique issues.
Yeah, it's like a moving puzzle. Yeah.
It is. So I'm just like, all right, how many more ways can a barn set up this? I think we've got them figured out for, trainers. Either you're their employee and you're paying them, or they're paying you and they're separate. So
Well, I just want to commend you with your innovation and your drive to do this and help the horse industry. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I hope this makes their life easier, because I know running my business, it made my life easier and me a friendlier person to my family.
Oh, yes.
Because it was frustrating, because I would end up the day that I'm like, I got so much paperwork to do, right? And I'm just like, no. So hopefully this will solve it. And like I said, only things left is a little bit of management stuff. And this is the boring stuff. This is setting up lessons and setting up the barn help.
Right.
And reports.
Okay.
You know, lots of reports out there to find whatever you need. And then the help. This is our help section where I have videos out there on YouTube of how-tos and all that. So
perfect. That's awesome.
it's a full-blown system.
I love it.
You know, I hope people come out there, gravitate to it, come be a part of it. You know, hey, come help us grow this. And like I said, I really want you to think of, this is your platform, right?
Yeah.
We're just hosting it. This is your platform. So...
Well, I'm excited because when I get my big facility, hopefully within the next 5 years, then you'll have it all sorted even better, and I'll be jumping into that. So,
that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So cool.
So, do you have any questions?
I think that's pretty much it. Is there any other success stories you want to share about your system and how it's helped your clients so far?
Absolutely. So probably the best one I have is I had a 79-year-old lady who came to me and says, I'm going to grow my business. Right? She is at 79 starting her horse lesson program.
That's amazing.
79 years old. And cutest thing ever. Love her. Right? And she still has a flip phone, right? A flip talk phone. So this has been a lot of hand-holding, but, I mean, this has been one of my best projects ever. We're starting off her with 5 lesson horses, and her as the trainer. And she has people signing up, so I've done a little extra with her, gone out, we've helped her set up her website, helped her set up some forms, because she doesn't understand any of that, right? Set up some forms, a little bit of help on some advertising. I have some people who are wonderful that help her, too. You know, I have a coach out there that's, you know, somebody that I affiliate with, and she's amazing. And she's taken this person on too. And between us two, she went from 3 students, she's up to 12 students in about 3 months, which she's growing slow.
Beautiful.
And, you know, it is amazing to watch her, you know, someone who had 0 technology skills at 79 years old, take this on and is adding people in here, using it, scheduling lessons, and enjoying life. So that's one of my favorite stories right now.
That's so cool. Where is she located?
She is out in Oregon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's been my next problem, the time zone. I'm on the East Coast. She's on the West Coast. And,
okay.
You know, she's like, well, let me get with you at 7 p.m.
I'm going to be asleep at
that's my good time.
Yep.
But anyway, so I usually stay up for her. You know, we've had some 11, 12 o'clock nights with her.
Oh, wow. Yep.
But, you know, she's a sweetheart. So.
That's exciting. I love it. And so inspiring. Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, if she can do it at 79, we can do anything. We can do anything we set our minds to. We really can.
Totally. Well, Jeremy, this has been wonderful. I'm really excited for you and all the amazing horse people out there who get to use your system. I think it's amazing and really needed out there.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for having me on here. And you've been, watching you have been an inspiration, because you're very inspirational. So whoever finds you when you grow that lesson barn is going to find an amazing, sweet, amazing teacher, I would imagine. You know, just a little bit I followed you. Your heart's as big as it can be. And I think your passion for the industry is amazing as well. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you for letting me come on and share some time with you.
You're most welcome. Thanks for being here. And remember, anyone listening, please do review the podcast if you are inspired, and check out the show notes, and you'll get to see how to sign up for this amazing system, Stable Systems. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Jeremy. And remember, you can always check out inspiredriding.com and find all the fun things available for inspired riders. Thank you again for listening. And please remember to lead with kindness for yourself and for your horse. And may the horse be with you always.